If you want to know where you'll end up in terms of your English fluency level in an X amount of time from now, don't give a bleep about what your current level is. Be more concerned about the trajectory you're on. Now, how do you get a sense of this trajectory you're on? Well, you do that precisely by looking at the things you do every day. Your habits, your processes, your consistent actions. And truthfully, it's not really about knowing what your level of English will be like in a year from now, for example. This mindset is really about thinking less about your goals and more about your processes, the system that will create the results you want. James Clear puts this beautifully with a quote: "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." So think about this question: what is the best habit you currently have that helps you boost your English fluency? If you feel like you're not doing enough to support an upward trajectory and you're feeling like you're going like on a flat, sideways trajectory, take this as an opportunity to, come up with a few habits, with a few ideas for what you could be doing that will help you get on the right direction. If you need ideas, here are some of the habits members of the Heroic English community do regularly.
The habit that I try to do it's joining a lot of meetings to practice my English, because joining a lot of meetings, you have someone to speak with, to exchange your ideas. So in that case, you will be able to level up your English fast.
That is a fantastic habit and one that really connects you with not just learning English, but also living it, and you're using it every day. And that's definitely going to help you, and it probably is helping you boost your ability. Beautiful. We have Vera and Giorgio. Vera?
Recently, I started to listen an audiobook. It's The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. And there is an option. I can listen it in Russian. Unfortunately, there is no translation to Ukrainian, or I can listen it originally in English. So I'm doing both. One time I'm listening Russian, so I can understand what they are talking about, and later I am listening from YouTube original version.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Excellent. Thank you for sharing, Vera. Giorgio?
So regarding your question, what I do every day, I try to listen to TED Talks, small TED Talks, in order to boost my listening skills, because I'm not able to understand when I watch an American film, for example. I need always subtitles. Then every day, in order to boost my vocabulary, for half an hour, I read a book in English. I've just finished Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I am a part of a book club, and once a month we meet and discuss about the book.
These are big habits for the development of your English fluency. But let's now shift gears a little bit and let's talk about other habits that are, smaller, tiny habits, but they have the potential to compound to big results in a few years from now. Let's explore that. So, what's a small improvement you have made recently that may seem insignificant, but has the potential to create remarkable results over time? Like, it's a tiny new thing that you've been doing recently that if you just consider like from now to next week, maybe that thing is not gonna really make a huge impact in your life. But if you just look like 5 years down the road, maybe that small thing is gonna definitely compound and amount to something big. For example, in my case, like I eat a lot of bread, and maybe just eating half the amount of bread that I consume every day, maybe next week it's not gonna have an impact in my weight or anything. Probably it will, but if you just look like a year from now, well, probably like I'm gonna lose some kilos. You know what I mean? What's a small change, new habit you've implemented recently?
Join in meeting. For me, speaking is a problem. I feel uncomfortable when I have a conversation. In my work, sometimes I have to do presentation in English, and I feel comfortable because I prepare my speech, etc. But I have to talk as now my mind become confusing. Is very difficult.
Yep. What do you think, Giorgio, about the challenges Stefan is going through and how he deals with them?
I think that Stefan is a perfectionist. It's a person that likes a lot to have a lot of information before taking an action.
You could say that like preparing before a meeting or an event or some duty that you have to fulfill. I actually like that because that's a moment where you actually have to think deliberately about what you're going to say, like, and iron out any possible future mistakes. And in the process of doing that, I think that you learn a lot. And next time you have to prepare, all the things that you actually prepared for before are going to be there, like a knowledge gain that are going to support you in the next opportunity that you're going to have to speak in English, to present something, things like that.
If you want to improve your English, if every day you improve 1%, in a year you have improved 37 times more than the first day of the year.
If you improve 1% every day for a year, at the end of that year, you are going to be 37 times better than you were in the beginning. How does the math work out for that? I'll tell you how, and I actually did my research on this particular point. Imagine that yesterday you had $1 and today you have 1% more on top of that $1. That is $1.01. So far, so good, right? Easy math. Now, here's the thing. Tomorrow, your 1% improvement will take effect on top of today's $1.01, meaning you won't have $1.02. You'll have a tiny bit more than that if you really look into the math of how, that works. Anyway, in 2 weeks, your savings won't add up to a linear $1.14, right? 1 cent for each of the 14 days in 2 weeks. So you won't have $1.14. You will have, do you want to know how much you'll have? About $1.15. That is 1 cent extra, as opposed to that was like a linear 1 cent per day. However, we're just looking at a 2-week period here with these tiny little compound interests. But what if we zoom out a little bit and look at this from the perspective of 1 year? You get $37 and, going back to what George just said, if you focus on getting better 1% every day, by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better than you were at the beginning of that year. Now, in a 5-year window, we are talking about more than $1 million, right? We started with a $1 investment. In 5 years, if we compound that by 1% every day, in 5 years, we'll have more than $1 million. And ain't that incredible? What's the lesson here? Don't underestimate the power of consistent daily habits, daily actions, and daily practices, because they do add up to big things. That was very insightful, Giorgio, too, about the 1% thing that comes from James Clear. And I love that because it's all about those tiny little gains that with time, they compound. And Stefan, I believe you've been in the fintech environment and the financial world, compound interest. That's a concept that I think applies in language learning. Hey there. Thank you for watching or listening. I hope that you enjoyed that mini podcast episode. Now, before I go, I want to let you know that I created a free 3-part training on confidence building for English fluency. The English heroes in my community who have gone through this training told me that they found it really transformative, and it helped them move beyond this limiting, I'm just an English learner, and oh, by the way, sorry for my bad English mentality. And now they instead embrace a more growth-oriented mindset that reminds them that I am a real-life English user who enjoys speaking the language every day, and I am on my way to becoming my most fluent, confident, and capable self in English. Download that with the link in the description down below, and you are going to discover the key actions of confidence. Because remember, the actions of confidence come first, the feelings of confidence come later. So go ahead and get the free 3-part training on confidence building for English fluency now and join the movement. With that said, English hero, keep learning, keep growing, keep living your English, and until next time.